The Dark Side of Startups by Arvind Arora and Pranesh Jain is a must-read for anyone looking to step into the startup world. This book uncovers hidden truths and essential insights in a clear and engaging manner, helping you navigate the challenges of entrepreneurship. The startup world often appears glamorous, drawing many towards its allure. However, behind the success stories lie obstacles and realities that aspiring entrepreneurs must understand. This book reveals the lesser-known aspects of startups, equipping you with the knowledge to make informed decisions and carve your own path in this ever-evolving industry. Introduction. Welcome to The Dark Side of Startups by Arvind Arora, A2 Sir, and Pranesh Jain. This book dives deep into the hidden struggles, setbacks, and ethical dilemmas behind the glamour of the startup world. Through real-life stories and expert insights, it offers valuable lessons for aspiring entrepreneurs, investors, and students. About the authors. Arvind Arora, A2 Sir, is a renowned Indian teacher, motivational speaker, and social media influencer with over 20 million followers. He gained fame through his YouTube channel, A2 Motivation, which has 15+ million subscribers and was also featured in Shark Tank India Season 2. Pranesh Jain is a chartered accountant, financial data analyst, and startup forensics expert. With experience working with over 500 funded startups, he is also an angel investor and venture partner, having delivered 200+ sessions on startups and financial education. This book is packed with powerful insights and is available in both Hindi and English on Amazon and Flipkart. To make it easy to understand, its key lessons are divided into 9 chapters. So, let's dive in. Chapter 1. Be cautious with share allotment in the early startup days. In the early days of a startup, many people show interest in joining and owning a part of the company. Founders often welcome this enthusiasm, believing that having good people on board will benefit the business. However, they must be extremely careful when distributing equity. One common mistake is giving away shares without a formal agreement. If ownership terms are not documented in writing, complications can arise when a person decides to leave the company. What happens if they exit early? How will the company handle it? A crucial rule for founders is to retain full control of equity in the beginning. Even if you're considering bringing in a close friend or colleague as a co-founder, it's essential to have a clear, written agreement outlining their responsibilities and ownership terms. The book shares a real-life example. A founder informally promised 2% equity shares to a colleague who was expected to contribute to the startup's growth. However, just 2 months later, the colleague left for higher studies abroad, having contributed nothing to the company. Later, when the startup's valuation reached 7.5 crore rupees, the 2% equity was worth 15 lakh rupees, a costly mistake. Although legal actions were possible, the process would have been time-consuming and expensive. This situation highlights why proper documentation and cautious share distribution are critical in the early days of a startup. Chapter 2. The risks of raising funds. Without proper understanding, raising funds is a crucial step for any startup, but many founders jump into funding rounds without fully understanding their financial situation, market potential, and long-term impact. One common question is, how do startup founders decide their company's valuation? In India, it often happens in unexpected ways. Many startups raise funds based on future projections, with valuations determined by registered valuers or merchant bankers. While this approach makes it easier for small startups to attract investment, it also brings potential pitfalls. The problem with overvaluation. Young entrepreneurs frequently secure funding at extremely high valuations, even before generating revenue. Startups at the pre-revenue stage sometimes raise funds at valuations of 10 to 20 crore rupees. While this may seem like a success, it can lead to future financial struggles. Here's an example. A startup founder raises 20 lakh rupees at a 10 crore rupees valuation just 20 days after launching. They use the money to develop their product, which costs 15 lakh rupees. Once the product is ready, they invest heavily in marketing and team expansion. If the sales go well, they may justify their valuation and raise more funds. But if sales fail, they face a big problem. Investors won't fund at the same high valuation. the founder may need to lower the valuation or invest personal savings. If personal funds run out, they may turn to unsecured loans, which come with financial risks. The lesson for startup founders: don't overinflate your startup's valuation. Short-term success can lead to long-term struggles. Raise funds at the right valuation. It's better to give up a little more equity than to get stuck with unrealistic expectations. Understand market realities. Founders who spend funds based on inflated valuations often realize their mistake too late. Chapter 3. Leaving a profitable business to start a startup. Many young people in India come from wealthy families with well-established, profitable businesses. However, with the growing excitement around startups, many choose to leave their family business to build something of their own. Colleges and media often emphasize the freedom and innovation that startups offer, making traditional family businesses seem less appealing. While there's nothing wrong with pursuing a startup, the author highlights that some of the most successful startups have come from people who transformed their family businesses into modern, scalable ventures. Instead of abandoning a profitable foundation, they built on it, making it more competitive in today's market. The key to a successful startup: first, focus on stability, then on growth. A unicorn, a billion-dollar company, is not truly successful unless it is profitable and self-sustaining. Every decision, whether about funding, investments, or loans, should be based on long-term stability. A startup's success is not just about high valuations, but about creating a profitable and lasting business. So, before leaving a profitable business behind, consider how you can innovate within it and make it even bigger. Chapter 4. Choosing a startup over a job. For many people, a job is a stable way to support their family. However, many professionals dream of starting their own business while working a job. Some take the leap and quit, while others build their startup alongside their job until they feel confident enough to go full-time. There are successful startup founders who first worked jobs before launching their businesses. However, many startups also fail, leading founders to return to jobs. Some keep trying, learning from their mistakes, and working toward a better startup. Both choices are valid. There is no right or wrong path. Making the right decision. If you're currently in a job and want to start a business, the startup world is open for you. If your startup struggles and you feel uncertain, returning to a job is always an option. Before quitting your job, ensure your income or savings are enough for survival. Taking risks is part of entrepreneurship, but risking your survival or family's well-being is not a wise move. Plan smartly and choose the path that secures your future while allowing you to follow your dreams. Chapter 5. Turning investors into founders. Many startup founders get stuck in a tricky situation where they give investors a significant stake in their company, making the investor a co-founder with decision-making power. This can seem like an easy solution for raising funds, but it often creates problems. A startup is the result of a founder's vision and struggle, and it's meant to be their own business. Typically, investors have ownership rights but are not involved in daily operations. Founders are in charge of making decisions and running the company. However, when an investor becomes a co-founder, they gain decision-making rights, which can limit the founder's freedom. The primary reason you started your startup may change if the investor's influence grows too much. Essentially, you could end up as an employee in your own company. Real-life example. 2. IIT Bombay graduates founded a healthcare device company. They worked hard to create an innovative product and raised funds from angel investors to develop it. When it came time to produce and distribute the product, they raised more funds from an investor, giving him co-founder status. The investor, financially strong, spent 6 months studying the product and market. Later, he brought his own team into the company and got involved in production and distribution. Within a year, the investor took control of the company, creating conflicts and pressuring the founders. Eventually, the founders were forced to resign due to the investor's increasing control. The lesson: while investors can be valuable for funding and advice, be cautious about giving them too much control. If you turn an investor into a co-founder, it could end up costing you the freedom you originally had in your business. Always ensure that the founder's vision and control remain intact. Chapter 6. Startups getting funding from the wrong investors. An investor is like an angel who nurtures a startup, helping it grow and succeed. However, finding the right investor can be challenging. When seeking funding, startup founders must understand that investing is risky. The investment can either disappear or bring huge returns. As a founder, it's important to recognize an investor's mindset and how they approach risk. Have they invested before? If they understand the risks of startup investments, you may have fewer worries. However, if they are new to investing, it could cause problems down the line. If your startup doesn't meet their expectations for profitable returns, conflicts may arise. Many founders have faced issues after taking funding from investors who don't have the right investment mindset. The problem with wrong investors. These investors often pressure founders to work harder to get their money back. Some may misbehave or undermine the founder's decisions, creating a toxic work environment. In many cases, startups fail to meet the investors' expectations, leading to stressful situations for everyone involved. The lesson is clear. Choose investors who understand the risks and are patient with the startup journey. Having the wrong investor can create more problems than solutions, and may even hurt the startup's progress. Chapter 7. Continuing to invest in a startup. Despite running losses, around 80% of unicorn startups in the country are still not profitable. In today's startup ecosystem, profitability is not always required for a high valuation, which is the benchmark many founders use to measure success. The valuation of a startup is determined by multiple factors, and even those running at a loss can dream of turning into a unicorn, a company valued over $1 billion. Many startups continue to operate at a loss while pushing up their valuation, hoping to hit that unicorn status. If the funding keeps coming, a company can become a unicorn through multiple funding rounds. However, if the funding dries up before or after reaching unicorn status, the founder faces 3 choices. 1. Sell the company, buyout. 2. Take the company public with an IPO, initial public offering. 3. Shut the company down. The reality is, there are risks at every stage, from starting a startup to becoming a unicorn, and even after. However, as a founder, you may receive a salary from the company, which helps with survival. Real money for the founder comes when the company either gets bought out or goes public. This is why many startup founders are willing to take the risk of operating at a loss, hoping that when the company grows, they will earn a significant profit from their equity in the company. Chapter 8. Focus on leading products/services. Many startups, after securing funding, lose sight of their original purpose. They get distracted by trying to sell their company and product as a brand, instead of focusing on what truly matters, their core offering. When a startup has multiple products or services, it's crucial to focus on the leading one. By improving its quality and making it stand out, your startup can create a unique selling proposition, USP, meaning no other competitor can offer the same value. It's far more effective to build one high-quality product or service than to launch many, even if they're all great. Focusing on what you do best helps your startup gain a stronger position in the market. Chapter 9. Things needed to start a startup. Starting a startup requires several key steps. Here's an overview of the process. 1. Idea. First, you need a business idea. Before jumping into work, make sure to validate your idea and check if there's demand in the market. A well-researched idea helps you develop a stronger business model when you begin. Second, planning and execution. You must assign responsibilities for actions and keep an eye on market demand. If your product development isn't on point, it could quickly lead to failure. Regular testing and understanding market response will help you stay on track. 3. Revenue generation. At this stage, you need to develop a sales strategy and focus on creating multiple income sources to sustain the business. 4th funding round. Startups need funding at various stages. Early stage funding comes from angel investors. Later, as the company grows, you may attract super angel investors or family office funds. Once your company has solid revenue, venture capitalists, VCs, may show interest in funding, helping you grow further. This is where the journey toward becoming a unicorn begins. 5. Exit strategy. Success isn't just about getting funding. A founder's success comes when they know the right time to exit and make money from the startup. A good exit strategy benefits both the founder and investors. Common exit options include O. Acquisition, selling the startup to a larger company. O. IPO, taking the startup public by listing on the stock exchange. O. Merger, joining with another company to increase synergy. O. Management buyout. MBO, selling the startup to its management team. O. Liquidation, closing the business and selling its assets. O. Private equity buyout, selling the startup to a private equity firm. By carefully following these steps, you can lay a solid foundation for your startup and set yourself up for success. Chapter 10. How to register a company in India. Registering a company in India involves several stages and formalities. Here's a simple breakdown of the process. 1. Decide on the company type. Choose the type of company you want to register, such as a private limited company, public limited company, or limited liability partnership, LLP. 2. Obtain digital signature certificate, DSC. A DSC is required to sign documents online during the registration process. 3. Get director identification number, DIN. Each director of the company must have a unique DIN for identification. 4th, name reservation. Choose a unique name for your company. Apply for name reservation through the MCA portal using SPICE Part A service. 5. Prepare documents. Prepare essential documents like the Memorandum of Association, MOA, and Articles of Association, AOA. These outline the company's purpose, rules, and regulations. 6. Fill incorporation documents. Once the name is approved, fill out the required incorporation documents, including the MOA, AOA, and other forms through the SPICE system on the MCA portal. Pay the necessary fees and stamp duties based on the company's authorized capital. 7. Certificate of Incorporation. After processing your application, the MCA will issue a Certificate of Incorporation. This is the official proof that your company is registered. 8. Apply for PAN and TAN. You'll need to apply for a Permanent Account Number, PAN, and Tax Deduction and Collection Account Number, TAN, for your company. 9. Open a bank account. Once your company is registered, open a business bank account in the company's name. 10. Compliance and registration. After registration, ensure you comply with legal requirements, such as goods and services tax, GST registration, if applicable, and obtaining any necessary licenses or permits. This process sets the foundation for your company's official recognition and operations. Chapter 11. Documents required for company incorporation. To incorporate a company in India, you will need to prepare the following documents. 1. Director Identification Number, DIN. 2. Digital Signature Certificate, DSC. 3. Memorandum of Association, MOA. 4. Articles of Association, AOA. 5. Proof of Registered Office. 6. Proof of Identity and Address. 7. Passport size photographs. 8. Declaration of Consent. 9. Form DIR-2 and DIR-8. 10. No Objection Certificate, NOC. 11. Utility bill, e.g. electricity or water bill. 12. PAN card. 13th. Declaration of Commencement of Business, Form ENC 20A. Once you have these documents ready, you can decide on the type of company you want to register, whether it's a sole proprietorship, partnership firm, or limited liability partnership, LLP. Each option has its own set of advantages and disadvantages, which you'll learn about in this book. Chapter 12. Startup Business Models. There are various types of business models for startups. Here are some of the most common and important ones. 1. Freemium business model. In this model, users can access basic features of a product or service for free. Over time, they are encouraged to upgrade to premium plans to access additional or advanced features. Examples: Gmail, Google Drive, iCloud. Second subscription business model. Customers pay regular fees to access products or services on an ongoing basis. This model helps generate stable and predictable revenue. Examples: Amazon Prime, Netflix, Shopify. Third, marketplace business model. A platform is created where buyers and sellers interact and transact. The platform operator generates revenue through commissions, listing fees, or memberships. Examples: Flipkart, Snapdeal, Amazon. Fourth, aggregator business model. This model collects and organizes information, products, or services from various sources, making it easy for users to access and compare. It adds value by helping customers make informed decisions. Examples: Ola, Uber, Airbnb, Rapido. 5. Pay-as-you-go. Business model. Customers pay based on how much they use the product or service, providing them with flexibility. They don't commit to fixed plans or contracts. Example: Amazon Web Services, AWS. These models offer different ways to generate revenue and attract customers. Each has its own strengths and can be adapted based on the startup's goals and market. Blast off. Conclusion. So friends, this is the summary of The Dark Side of Startups, where the author highlights both the challenges and opportunities in the startup world. This book has 39 chapters, and we've covered 12 chapters in this summary. To explore the rest of the valuable insights, make sure to read the book in detail. In this book, you'll learn about how to use startup funds effectively, the reality of unicorns and big startups, how to avoid toxic culture in startups, the impact startups can have on your personal life, what to do if investors back out from their commitments. If you're interested in understanding the startup world thoroughly, this book is a complete guide for you. Be sure to read it for detailed answers to all your questions. Check the link in the description to get your copy now. The Dark Side of Startups. Book review. Arvind Arora and Pranesh Jain provide valuable insights and deep knowledge about the glamorous yet challenging startup world. From registering a company to securing funding for growth and aiming to become a unicorn, the authors cover every essential detail to help readers navigate the startup journey. This book reveals many of the hidden truths and secrets of the startup sector, offering a comprehensive understanding of its complexities. It's especially effective for those looking to dive deep into the minute aspects of building and scaling a business. However, the book does focus on specific areas that might not be of interest to everyone. But for anyone interested in understanding or venturing into the startup culture, this book is a goldmine of information. It's an essential read for aspiring entrepreneurs and those curious about the reality behind the startup world. Stay tuned for upcoming videos on our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to Ebook-audio, hit the bell icon to get notifications, and don't forget to leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you.